Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. I do want to introduce Wendy Setin, who is joining us to facilitate part of the session this evening. For those in the French program, you don't know me, I'm Tracy. I've been facilitating the English program. I'm going to get started with the presentation. If you do have questions or require some translation, feel free to use the chat, and Wendy would be able to help you if you need some clarification. And we would have some time for questions in both languages following the presentation, so you can ask those at that time as well. So I'll get started with the presentation now. And I'll have to ask the usual question in a second about, can you see my screen? So bear with me here.
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to share in the presenter mode, so I'm hoping that works. Can everyone see my screen still? Okay, perfect. Thanks. I can see Kevin nodding. So welcome to week 6. This is our last evening together. So I'm very glad to see everyone join us here. We're excited to help you finish off the program and launch into success. So our plan for tonight, just want to talk about some reflection, building your confidence and keeping that momentum going. Everyone here throughout this our time together, you've been building a very strong foundation, and we want to make sure that you can finish strong and launch with success once you're done with this program. We're going to talk about some tools to keep you moving forward and talk about the resources that are available to continue to support you once you're finished with this program, because we want to let you know that your journey with our 2 organizations does not end here. You will have support along the way to keep you going. So in terms of today, we'll have a quick welcome introduction, as I've just done. We'll get a presentation from Wendy. Then I will do some of our core content related to our side hustle program again, talking about keeping the momentum going. A little bit of a round table from the group. Kevin is going to speak to you about the resources available through his organization, and then we'll talk about next steps. Just want to talk this before we move on to Wendy's presentation. I just want to be clear, again, as I said, this isn't the end. It's really the launch point for you and your business. Your side hustle success doesn't end with the end of this program. It's really just the beginning. It's where you can take everything you've learned here, use the resources we're going to share with you, and continue to grow. We really want to have you celebrating your progress, being open to learning and connection with us and with other participants in the program. And just again, to remind you that we're here to support your next steps. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Wendy. I'll stop sharing my screen. And I believe, Wendy, you're going to go ahead and share yours.
Thank you, Tracy. Hi, everyone. I'm Wendy, the Head of Export Support Services at the FGA. I'll now switch to French. Just give me 1 second while I upload my presentation. Can you see my screen?
Oui. I can, yes.
Ok. Bon après-midi tout le monde, je me présente, enfin cette fois-ci en français, je suis Wendy Setin, la responsable du service d'appui à l'exportation à l'FGA, donc la Fédération des gens d'affaires francophones de l'Ontario. Aujourd'hui, je vais vous présenter un petit aperçu de ce que nous faisons, de nos services. Donc la FGA a démarré ses opérations en 2021 avec pour mission de soutenir et de représenter les entrepreneurs francophones de l'Ontario, avec la vision de faire rayonner une économie francophone forte ici et ailleurs. Elle mène ses activités grâce au soutien du gouvernement de l'Ontario et du gouvernement du Canada. Donc, c'est quoi nos raisons d'être? La FGA existe pour aider les entreprises francophones à grandir, être plus visibles et collaborer entre régions et accéder plus facilement au marché et aux ressources. Nous comptons des membres associatifs, coopératifs et des PME à travers notre réseau. Et à travers ce vaste réseau, on regroupe en fait environ 5000 entreprises à travers la province. Voici un aperçu de nos membres. Donc, nous avons 4 objectifs stratégiques principaux. Donc, le premier objectif, c'est de consolider l'offre de services en continuant d'appuyer les entrepreneurs avec des ateliers, des ressources et des programmes adaptés. Le deuxième objectif serait de renforcer la communauté en développant le réseautage et les partenariats qui réunissent et unissent l'écosystème d'affaires francophone. Et le troisième objectif serait de soutenir la croissance des entreprises en facilitant l'accès aux ressources, au financement et à l'accompagnement pour leur développement. Et comme dernier objectif, c'est de développer l'ouverture et l'exportation en aidant les entreprises à explorer de nouveaux marchés et à faire rayonner leur savoir-faire. Voici les 4 grands axes sur lesquels la FGA concentre son travail pour appuyer les entrepreneurs et renforcer l'économie francophone. Donc, en termes d'affaires gouvernementales, on représente les intérêts économiques des entrepreneurs francophones et on garde un dialogue ouvert avec les décideurs pour faire avancer leurs enjeux. En termes de réseau francophone, on encourage les échanges et la collaboration entre entreprises et partenaires pour renforcer tout l'écosystème d'affaires francophone. En termes de recherche, on produit et on partage des données économiques qui nous aident à mieux comprendre les besoins des entreprises et à orienter les politiques publiques. En termes de services, et ça on ira un peu plus en détail plus tard, on offre des outils, des événements, un accompagnement personnalisé pour soutenir la croissance des entrepreneurs et les aider à créer de nouveaux partenariats. Voici quelques-uns de nos projets phares à la FGA. Donc, comme vous voyez, on mène plusieurs initiatives pour soutenir les entreprises francophones, que ce soit à travers la conciergerie d'affaires, l'appui à l'entrepreneuriat, le pôle d'exploitation ou encore des plateformes comme Quartier d'affaires. On publie aussi un livre blanc. On organise des missions commerciales. Nous sommes membres de l'Alliance de la francophonie économique canadienne, qui est la FEC, et nous tenons un forum économique annuel. Aujourd'hui, je vais surtout prendre un moment pour vous parler des 4 projets en particulier, dont la conciergerie d'affaires, nos services d'appui, le pôle d'exploitation et la plateforme Quartier d'affaires. Donc, la conciergerie d'affaires est un service clé que nous offrons à nos membres pour leur fournir un accompagnement personnalisé. Nous aidons les entrepreneurs à créer, développer ou relancer leur entreprise avec des conseils adaptés en finance, en gestion, en ressources humaines ou encore en aspect juridique. Nous orientons aussi chaque entrepreneur vers les meilleures ressources et les bons experts grâce à un réseau solide de partenaires francophones et bilingues partout en Ontario. L'objectif est d'offrir un soutien concret et sur mesure en fonction des besoins de chaque entreprise. Donc, en termes de services d'appui à l'entrepreneuriat, c'est vraiment le cœur de notre travail à la FGA. On accompagne les entrepreneurs à chaque étape, que ce soit pour clarifier leurs défis, définir leurs objectifs ou trouver des solutions adaptées. Les consultations sont personnalisées et entièrement gratuites, ce qui permet aux entrepreneurs d'obtenir rapidement du soutien fiable. On offre aussi toute une série d'ateliers, de formations et d'événements d'affaires. L'objectif est de renforcer les compétences entrepreneuriales, d'offrir des outils pratiques et de créer des occasions de réseautage entre entrepreneurs et partenaires. Un volet important de notre travail, c'est l'appui à l'entrepreneuriat féminin. On propose des ateliers conçus pour soutenir la croissance et l'autonomisation des femmes entrepreneurs partout en Ontario. Et finalement, on met à disposition la plateforme Incubo, qui recense les services de pré-incubation, d'incubation, de mise en œuvre et d'accélération. Donc, le pôle d'exportation, c'est une initiative que nous développons pour aider les entreprises francophones de l'Ontario à se projeter au-delà de leur marché local, autant vers d'autres provinces qu'à l'international. Donc, ce projet est appuyé par le ministère des Affaires francophones. Donc, l'idée est d'appuyer des entreprises qui souhaitent diversifier leur marché, identifier de nouvelles opportunités et renforcer leur capacité d'exportation. Ce projet prévoit la mise en place d'un diagnostic structuré, d'un accompagnement personnalisé, d'ateliers d'information sur différents marchés ainsi que de futures missions commerciales. L'objectif de ce projet est de mieux préparer les entreprises à exporter et de créer à terme des occasions concrètes de croissance et de rayonnement, ici au Canada comme à l'international. Donc maintenant, je passe à Quartier d'affaires. Donc, Quartier d'affaires, c'est notre plateforme pour connecter. Un instant. Ok. Vous voyez toujours mon écran? Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can, Wendy.
OK. Carcy d'affaires, c'est notre plateforme pour connecter les entreprises francophones entre elles, ici à l'international. L'objectif est d'aider les entreprises à trouver de nouveaux clients, de nouveaux partenaires et à accroître leur visibilité. C'est un outil accessible à toutes les entreprises qui leur permet de promouvoir facilement leurs produits et leurs services. Ça nous mène à la fin de notre présentation. Si vous avez des questions, je suis ravie de les prendre. Merci. Yeah, I'm done with my presentations, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to take them.
Okay, I'll move on with the rest of the presentation. If there are questions along the way, you can add them in the chat in both languages. So just for clarification, I will deliver the next portion of the presentation in English. And if there are questions in French, Wendy can support. I can answer some in French, but I'll leave the proper French to Wendy so I don't embarrass myself. But feel free to ask questions and clarification, and we can provide the presentation that I am providing to you in French as well following the presentation. And then at the end, for those who are looking for English resources, those will be available to you through Kevin's presentation, which will follow. So I'm going to continue on and just share my screen in a moment. And can I just get someone, Kevin or Wendy, could you confirm? I think you can see my screen. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
Perfect. Thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, what we really want to talk about this evening is keeping the momentum alive. And once you stop, once this program is over, we don't want you to lose the momentum you've built, and we want you to keep going and leverage the resources that are available to you in both languages, and keep hustling and keep that side hustle success going. So again, progress doesn't end here. The biggest thing we want to reinforce with you here, in addition to that there are so many resources out there, is just to remind you that, particularly with the side hustle program, it's those small and consistent steps that really lead to real results. So when you're looking at this as something that's adding on to, one more thing in your life that you have to take care of, we don't want you to feel like that. We don't want you to feel like it's not something you can manage. Don't overcommit. Don't strive to do too much too often. You really want to have those small pieces, and that consistency is what leads to results. You're better off dedicating an hour or half an hour even of your time to this each week and making sure that you're doing it every week than, a couple hours here and a couple hours a few weeks later where you're not consistent. And again, reinforcing the fact that momentum will grow when you stay connected to that. You've already dedicated an hour a week to this program. So that's a great example of, as I've said before, as to how to continue to keep that going. Keep that hour a week locked in your calendar. Make that your time to spend on the program if that's a time that works for you. And then continue to grow that momentum. We've helped you build a great foundation. So as I talk about, you can't build a strong house without a strong foundation. You've got the tools and the resources now to build that foundation. Now it's time to put up some walls and a roof and all of the lovely indoor things that make a house a home. So keep on building of what you've built here and get that foundation, filled up with walls and roof and all the fun things. I also want to make sure you take time to celebrate what you've achieved. So side hustle it's a hard thing to do. It's a lot. It's finding time in a busy life when, there's so much going on, so many different things that are trying to get your priority and get your time. So the pieces of work that you've already done, just committing to this program, recognize yourself for that. Celebrate the success of what you've had, even if it's just showing up and giving it a little bit more clarity and thought. Maybe you've built your 6-month and your 3-month goals, and you've got that plan in place. Celebrate what you've achieved, and success is, again, as we talked about early in the program, success is individual. So your definition of success for you will likely be different from someone else on this call. And so you need to make sure that you're defining your own success and it's not dependent on someone else's success. If someone else wants to make $1 million in the next year, that doesn't mean that's the right goal for you. If someone wants 100 new clients this month, that doesn't mean that's the best goal for you. Make yourself consciously deciding on what success means to you and what each goal looks like for you. Even someone who's trying to launch the same business as you as a side hustle, it doesn't necessarily mean their success should be defined in the same way. And remember, progress isn't always about the numbers. Sometimes it's just you getting that clarity, you gaining that confidence and having a sense of direction with a plan. And those wins, they might be small, it might be tiny. Maybe you made your first phone call or you put up your first social media post, depending on your business. But those little wins make a big difference. So make sure that you're celebrating those so that they continue to fuel your motivation. And again, when we talk about momentum, it's not just about success. Sometimes it's acknowledging how far you've come. If you look back to where you were 6 weeks ago, maybe you just had an idea in your head. You didn't know how you were going to make it happen. You had no tools. You didn't even know some of these resources were out there. You can look at what you've gained and all of the accomplishments that you've been able to achieve over the past 6 weeks. Well, we talked about goals a little earlier in the program. Maybe things have changed for you. Maybe you've completed some of them. Maybe you need to shift them around. You can look at what's in progress, what's been completed. As you learn more about running your side hustle success, and as you learn more about your own business, sometimes you need to adjust your goals. So what sounded like a good idea 6 weeks ago for you may not be the best idea for you now. So don't be afraid to adjust your goals. And I think sometimes people will look at goal adjustments as an indication of failure or, I didn't succeed, so I had to change my goals. I think that's actually the wrong way to look at it, because I think if you are adjusting your goals, it's because you learned something. So you no longer think this is important, or sometimes it means it's no longer achievable based on what you learned about the time you can commit. Maybe it's about the market. Maybe it's just about what you want to achieve. So make sure you're not looking at goal adjustments in a negative light, that you're looking at it as, this is progress I'm making because I know more than I did yesterday or 6 weeks ago. And then we talked about that 6-month roadmap. You want to make sure you keep adjusting that. One of the biggest ways to ensure more success in reaching your goals and achieving what you want is writing things down and having them in a concrete way that you can revisit visually. So make sure you're updating your roadmap so it does reflect those next steps. You're not looking at outdated goals, and you have that most recent path for you to follow. We've talked about some of the big habits that you want to build so you keep that momentum going and keep you focused. That weekly time that you put aside for yourself, whatever that looks like for you, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, find the time in your schedule that makes sense for you. And that also might be something that takes some time to figure out. Maybe you think that, the time that you've been attending this session is best for you, and you find out in a couple of months that doesn't work for you. That's okay, as long as you can find the time. Put that aside. Make sure you're not sacrificing that time for other things. Just have it in your calendar as, this is work. This is not fun. This is not fun and entertainment. It's something that's going to get you to where you want to go. And I think one thing that we tend to focus on in our society is the results, the achievements, is what did I get? But also make sure you're tracking your actions. So here's the 5 things I did today. So you made that phone call, you did that social media post, maybe you designed a new social media post, whatever that looks like. Those are the types of things that also keep you motivated when you look back at your achievements. They're not always sort of the results. They're also those actions that you've taken to further your goals. One thing that's really important when it comes to side hustle and fitting it into your busy life is keeping those simple routines. So what are the simple steps you're going to take to make that consistency easier? So, if you know you're going to set aside time at 6:30 every Wednesday or Thursday, what am I going to do to make sure that I'm in that place? So it's, turn off my phone. I'm going to take out the garbage earlier. I'm going to do these 3 things to make sure that my consistency can happen, whatever that looks like. And again, when we talk about those small steps, getting out of the mindset of all or nothing. So maybe one week you had 5 things you wanted to do and you didn't get them all done, and that's okay. It's still great that you've taken those small steps. Maybe you were able to accomplish 3 things, and that's great. And you come back to the other 2 next week. But we do tend to do that also. It's easy to say, I didn't get anything done. So, this week is a write-off, this week is a wash. Get out of that attitude and start thinking about the small steps that you've taken. And we want to come back to your why. So your motivation here can keep you going, can keep that momentum alive. Reconnect with why, the reason you started this. You all had a reason you wanted to start a side hustle. Could be about retiring early, could be about having more money to take a trip this year, or might be just for you to have something to do, in the evenings because they're looking a little empty in terms of entertainment, whatever that might look like for you. Spend the time to reconnect and reflect onto why you wanted to start this in the first place. And that will help you with your motivation as well, and help you to, get motivated, especially on those days when it's busy and it feels like you just like to put it aside for that day. And then, of course, we all like to have a nice impact, a positive impact on the world and the community around us. So keep reflecting on that and keep that in the back of your mind as well. And when you're making those decisions and building up your energy, that motivation can really act as your guide. Act as your guiding light. And so something we talked about last week is anticipating your obstacles. And sometimes these are things that are external to you, but sometimes these are things that tend to derail your plans, internally. So this might be a friend calling you because they're going out, maybe they're going for a jog, maybe they're going for shopping, maybe they're going out for dinner. Anybody who's ready to distract you with fun, that might be what derails you. Maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your dog or your cat. Maybe it's the weather, whatever that looks like. Identify those barriers early and come up with some workarounds. So maybe it's you shut off your phone, or you're not answering texts for that day because you know that something could be coming up and distracting you. And get those support options available to you as well. Is it someone who can help you if you've got a dog that needs to be walked, or picking up dry cleaning, or whatever that might look like. Where are there opportunities for people to help to support you with this? And remembering that when you're planning, it realistically is key here with a side hustle, because there are only, for anyone in any day, there are only so many hours in a day. But when it comes to a side hustle success, you're really looking at fewer hours that you can dedicate to what you're doing. And I think it's so important for you to be realistic about what you can achieve. If you're working, 35 or 40 hours a week, and you're coming home and you're not finding a lot of time to do the things you want to do already, adding in 10 hours a week, saying you can dedicate 10 hours a week to your business is not realistic. So look at where you can do something that's achievable and realistic for you and your particular situation. And again, that old saying of, if at first you don't succeed, try again. It's so true. You want to keep learning and adjusting, experiment with those new ideas, learn from your clients and what you've done, and from your results. If you see something that's working, keep doing it. Look at ways you can build on that success. And if something's not working, it doesn't necessarily mean you put it away forever. Maybe it just needs a slight tweak, or maybe it's a different time of year you try it, or with a different particular audience for your particular product or service. And most importantly, when mistakes happen, you're going to make sure you're not fussing over them. These things happen. It's not a failure. It's a feedback mechanism and an opportunity for learning. And don't be afraid to be curious. What could we do next? When you think about all of the great achievements in the world and great inventions, a lot of them came from someone being curious, thinking about what if I tried something new? And that's really important when it comes to a business, and in particular, a side hustle business, because you have to be so creative with your time and your energy. And I think, again, with something when you're working full time or part time or whatever world you're living in, where you're spending your time outside of the side hustle, a support system is so important. You want people who encourage your growth and can help you, not necessarily help you directly with your business, but help you by providing that support, whether it's time, whether it's, making connections for you, whatever that looks like. And connecting with, peers and mentors and partners is key. So many things, so many decisions are made by word of mouth. People are always looking for recommendations. And so if you can keep those relationships going, have that networking as a part of who you are. And that's not about feeling like, oh, I don't want to be that person who's always talking about my business. You don't have to be that person. It's just making sure people know what you do, because sometimes you'll find you have those conversations. And if someone says to you, I didn't know you do that, that's telling you you're probably not talking about your business enough, right? You don't want to be the person at a party who only talks about it, and people get tired of hearing about it. But you want to make sure everyone knows what you do so that you have those opportunities for word of mouth. And, sharing is key. Wins, challenges, mistakes, share those with your friends, families, partners, mentors, so that you can learn from them and grow. And then again, supporting creates accountability, and that creates momentum. So having that a little computer glitch here. It creates accountability when people know what you're doing. The people understand that Tracy's going to be working on these 5 things. People can hold you accountable for that, and that really helps build and create momentum for you. We talked about this and the small action steps. That's the key to maintaining momentum. We don't want perfection. We're looking for progress, one meaningful action at a time. And again, that progress beats perfection, having that little step forward. Nothing is perfect. And if you're striving for perfection, you're never going to reach it. So don't be looking for that. Just be looking for those little steps of progress. And I'm going to leave you with your next step here, which is to choose one clear action for a week. So what are you going to do this week? Schedule it. Make sure you know when and where you're going to do it. Put it in your calendar, mark it, tell someone, make sure someone knows what your plan is so that they can check back with you next week and say, did you do it? How did it go? What did you learn from it? And remember that small step today really gives you big results over time. Your business will grow as you grow. You've got everything you need in place to move forward. You have tools, you have resources, and Kevin will talk to the resources available through his group. And for those who joined after Wendy's presentation, we'll share the resources with respect to French language resources as well with you for those who are looking for those services as well. You want to trust that process and your pace. Don't try to rush things. This isn't a race. This is, sort of that journey for you to understand how you're going to get there and the steps you're going to take along the way. And keep going. Sometimes it's tough. It's tough when you're trying to do something like this on the side when you've got other things going on in your life. But just remember that consistency is your superpower. Those small steps every day will have a big impact. So now we wanted to offer up an opportunity for a participant roundtable for you to share what you're doing, the side hustle you're exploring, connecting with other groups, with other people in the group. So if you're willing to share your contact information or what you're doing or how people might reach out to you, we'd love to do that. Certainly, as we shared at the beginning of the program, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. As we shared at the beginning of the program, certainly if you prefer to stay off camera and not share, we respect that decision and certainly don't want anyone to share if they're not comfortable. But what I'd love to do is if there's anybody who wants to come off camera and share or share in the chat, I'll leave that to give you a few moments. And again, if you would prefer to share, we can answer questions and speak to you in either French or English. So I'll give everyone a moment to put their thoughts in the chat if they like to, or if you'd like to speak and come off camera, or whether you come off camera or not, you can raise your hand and we'll let everybody who's interested share. Okay, we got a little bit of a shy group here. That's okay. I will leave it at that. And if there is anyone, if you change your mind and you want to share in the chat, that's great. We can do so. But in the meantime, I will turn over to Kevin Kevin's going to speak to the resources that are available through North Simcoe Business Center. I'm going to share my screen for that. And again, we can provide what will come out from Kevin's presentation is that his organization provides services in both official languages. So we can also provide this presentation to the group in French for those who would be looking for those services in the North Simcoe area. So Kevin, are you ready for me to share my screen for you to begin? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Thanks, Tracy.
Yeah. Want me to share? Are you ready to go ahead, Kevin?
I certainly am.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll share my screen.
Okay, so before I get going, I just want to thank a number of different people and organizations. Our funder is the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario. I do want to recognize and thank FGA. Wendy gave you a presentation of what that organization is, and you would have seen Stefan and Lena throughout our sessions together over the last 5 weeks. Route 93, who is an economic development partner of ours here in North Simcoe, and finally the County of Simcoe and the Entrepreneurial Innovation Fund, which gave us some money to run this program. So before I start my presentation, I am on, where's my page here? Here we go. I just want to make it clear that our catchment area, the areas where you must be running your business, you don't have to live there, but you have to be running your business. Our catchment area is Balsalley Island, the towns of Midland and Penetanguishene, and the townships of Springwater, Tiny, and Tay. So on page 2, we're here for you. We see incredible ideas and talent in our region. Small businesses.
Sorry, Kevin.
Yep.
Can I just confirm that my screen is vision? Like if people can see my screen, I just want to make sure. If I go like that.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so we're here for you. We see incredible ideas and talent in our region. Small businesses create jobs, add character to our towns, and keep our economy thriving. That's why we're so invested in helping you succeed. The next slide is how we can help. So like Tracy mentioned, our core services are offered in both English and French. For close to 40 years, we've been helping local entrepreneurs launch, grow, and transition their businesses. We combine practical advice with real world experience. And because we live here too, we understand the local market in a way others can't. Next slide, our impact on the region. Through programs like business coaching and access to loans, we help businesses create jobs, generate income, and strengthen the local economy. By supporting these businesses, we're investing in the long-term economic sustainability for North Simcoe. We've worked with thousands of businesses over the last 40 years, helping them navigate the challenges of starting, growing, and transitioning a business. So the next slide, your competitive advantage. Your success isn't just good for you, it's good for our local economy. That means you're not just another client to us. We're invested in your long-term success because it benefits everyone. We have the right connections and we care about the success because it impacts everybody. Next slide, why this matters to you. We've designed our services to be practical and accessible. Everything we do is about helping you move forward, not burying you in jargon or paperwork. We save you time by cutting through the noise, help you avoid costly mistakes, and connect you to resources you don't know existed, and give you the confidence to move forward. The next 2 slides are a success story. Hemingway's is a local barbershop in downtown Midland. After 17 years in the hospitality industry, Chris Walsh envisioned a community-focused barbershop. He turned to us to make his dream a reality. After receiving a startup loan and coaching, he was able to bring Hemingway's Barbershop to life. Next slide, Hemingway's is now a thriving business in downtown Midland. Chris actively gives back to the community through local sponsorships and charity events. He also takes pride in referring new business owners to our North Simcoe Business Center, which helps things continue into the future. The next slide is real support, real results. We've designed our services to be practical and accessible. Everything we do is about helping you move forward, not burying you in jargon or paperwork. So we have loan programs that work with your situation, not against it. We introduce you to decision makers and partners and tools that make running your business easier. The next slide, think of this program as your launch pad. Once it's over, we're still here and we'll continue to be a resource that you can call on at any stage. We're here for you, whether it's online resources, personal support, funding solutions, or even networking opportunities. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you, Tracy. Back to you.
Thanks. I just want to give an opportunity for any questions. And again, we will hopefully be able to answer in both languages, and Kevin may not be able to answer, but we could perhaps use Wendy to support answers in French, or we can get you answers post-session. Okay, I'm going to jump back into, closing off here. That concludes the content that we wanted to review with you tonight. We wanted to make sure you had understanding of all of the resources that are available to you. We wanted to give you a chance to network with each other. So hopefully, we'll give some time in the chat that you can share information if you're still willing to. We will forward all of the resources that we provided and shared with you over the last 6 weeks to everybody. I do want to say thank you so much for everyone who joined us tonight when it was a little bit of a different time and day of the week for the English students. So thanks for making the accommodation for us today. We wanted to get everyone together and make sure you had all of the resources. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I do see we have a question. And you can feel free to unmute yourself and ask whether you've got a question in English or French. Have a hand up, so.
Actually, I'm bilingual, so but I think the majority is talking English, so I will go with English. It's just I have a question regarding the network and how we will put our links on in the chat, or and also regarding the next step, is it reaching out or either people that's presenting today or depending on our requests? Just some more.
Oh, sorry, could you repeat the beginning of the question? It was a little,
Yes,
it was
the
a
beginning
little.
is regarding I was under impression that it's for networking. So how it will go? Should we put our I don't know, business page or something in the chat, or just talking about our different projects?
Yes, if you want to share what you're doing, and you can put your business page in the chat, that would be great. And if you're comfortable sharing it verbally, we'd love to hear what it is you do, and feel free to speak to share what it is you do, where it is you do, what your plans are. And yes, we'd love to have your information where we could learn more in the chat. Absolutely.
Let me just I'll put my business page on LinkedIn.
And we will also include that this will be available in the recording, and we can share that with you with the group as well, so everyone will have access to it post-session.
Okay.
And if you're comfortable sharing about verbally what you do, that would be great. And you can do so again in French and English, or if you have a preference of either one, feel free to share.
Yes, I'm more comfortable talking French, but let's do it today in English because I think the majority of us are English speaker. Basically, my name is Lamia, so I'm the CEO of LA Coaching and Consulting. It's a private practice regarding career and leadership coaching. I launched the practice last summer. It's pretty new. It's just let's say a soft launching because I'm still working my 9-to-5 job. So we can name it, I'm definitely under the side hustle business. My experience, the majority is more in projects management, business building, in more banking industry. But through my personal experience immigrating to Canada, building my own business, networking, and how I switched from my career from back home to here, and even living to studying abroad. So my storytelling is I started having many questions. I was invited as a guest speaker in nonprofit. So this is how everything started, and why I was thinking to give back to the community at that time, volunteering. So I still do a lot of volunteering, but this is the starting point of my business idea. But basically, my plan is to have a one-on-one coaching, either newcomers or people in transitioning in a different field. or people that want to transition from employee to entrepreneurship. This is what I'm personally living now. And yeah, so, and it's bilingual, of course, services. And I don't know if you have any other questions, but I didn't really prepare any pitch for today, but it's basically this is
Great. Thank you so much. Any questions from the group? Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing, and that will be available to everyone who signed up for the program. Is there anyone else who wants to share, give a little bit of an introduction to their business, even if it's not quite as far along as this, as this business is? If it's just an idea in your head, we're happy to hear that as well.
And if no one, I have the second question. If no one.
Okay, great. Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, it's regarding the next step after this program. So how we can, like, should we reach out to the person that we, because I was attending more the French speaker workshops just because of the time, because it works more for me Thursday nights than Wednesdays nights. So what is the next step? Like, of course, I'm soft launching, so I will definitely need some helps at some time regarding my launching. So is it like reaching out to people online now, or whatever other person you can suggest, or the
So if you're
people that you
yeah, or if you're looking for, to consult like the resources we shared tonight, if you're looking for the French language resources, I can put you over to Wendy or Kevin, who could tell you the best way to get in touch with their teams and the resources that are available through them.
Okay, because I don't know who, because there is any specification, because I'm in Toronto, so but I'm basically working online, so I don't know if there is.
Oh, okay. So Wendy, would you be able to speak to that?
Yes, for sure. What I would propose is maybe for us to connect after this session.
Yes, no
So
problem.
that
I
we
already added all of you on LinkedIn. It's my job, so yeah, I added all of you on LinkedIn. So yeah.
yes, that would be great to get in touch with you, and we can certainly discuss how we can work together.
Yes, and I'm seeking also partnership and anything, so we can definitely discuss about it offline.
Great, thank you. And for those in the region of North Simcoe, so if you're looking for the French languages services through FGA, you can reach out to, you can connect with Wendy. If you are, or as Kevin said, if the business is in North Simcoe, then you can hit the North Simcoe Business Center's website and reach out to his team there, and they'll be able to happy to help you. Or as done already, if you feel free to reach out to people on LinkedIn, that's a great way to connect people as well. So just wanted to make sure that was clear, and thanks for that question. Do we have any other questions from the group? Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us again. Thanks for making the time a little earlier and on a different day for some of you. I want to thank everybody so much for being a part of the program. I really enjoyed sharing my time with the English group, and I know that the group delivering the French language program did as well. So I want to thank you so much for your time. And Kevin, I'm just going to turn it over to you for the last words here.
No, that's all. I guess that's all we have. Tracy, I want to thank you for your facilitation, and again, Stefan, Lena, and Wendy. I hope everybody enjoyed the program. I hope you took something away. If we have one side hustle that starts because of this whole, program and presentation, then I consider this a success. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, it's been a real pleasure. And I think, my last piece of advice is don't consider this the end, as we said in the presentation. Make sure you're reaching out for those resources, and make sure you're going back and watching the content that we've reviewed, because sometimes, it's not the right moment in time for you to get that one little aha moment or that little gem that's going to make the difference in your business. So go back and watch the videos again, go through the resources that are available, and take advantage of the resources through FGS and through North Simcoe Business Center. There's amazing opportunities for you to get coaching and mentoring and support. And especially, again, with that side hustle concept, I think it's more important than, any other business where you've got that extra support because you have that limited amount of time in a week. So, don't turn away resources that are available to you, because it's really what can help you take you from that concept of good to great. And I think with Kevin, I look forward to seeing everyone's success stories. Hope to see you all, feel free to add me on LinkedIn. I love to see what everyone's up to and what you're doing, and can't wait to see where you all take your businesses in the future. Thanks so much. And thank you. Have a wonderful evening. I hope everybody enjoys this lots of snow, and, hope in our next program, you'll all join us again. Thanks so much, and have a great evening.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.